So thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you for you doing it.
So tell me, what was it like to transfer from The Closer to Major Crimes?
Seriously, effortless. We all, I mean, Ray Cruz and I would talked about, this transition that was going to occur. We knew it was coming. And we both felt, we had a conversation one day, and we both felt that Major Crimes was going to do fine. We might fall off a little bit, but we'll do fine, and that maybe we'll get those people back eventually. And the reason why I believe that is because James Duff is still the executive producer. The writers are all the same. The cast is all the same. Now Mary McDonnell, two-time Academy Award nominee, is now, elevated to, the lead female of the show. And so given all those, it just seemed like a no-brainer.
Did you have to adjust to the different commanders? I know technically she's not a commander, but your boss in personality?
That's an interesting question. No, yes and no, because in the beginning, as Raider was, being, what's the word? She was like, they nicknamed Dart Raider, but James very cleverly, through the character of, Rusty, allowed everybody to see, hey, at the end of the day, she's a human being, she's a mother, she's, dealing with what women go through in the workplace all the time. And it just became more fun to work with that, to watch that, undo itself, like the past, be a part of the evolution. It was great.
Were you ever in any other police shows, or where are your influences?
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because my friend David Burke, he's an executive producer, writer, on a TV series. We met on a TV series called Crime Story. So one day we were at some event, and he said, Tony, do you realize? He goes, when you were the main gangster on Crime Story, the police department that was chasing you was called the Major Crimes Unit. He goes, now you're a lieutenant on the Major Crimes Unit, tracing down bad guys. And I did never realize that, but he pointed it out right away.
What do you want the viewers to know about your character?
Let me see. What I want the viewers to know about my character: that he's an honest guy, that he is, by the book, that he's not one of these kind of individuals where the ends justify the means. He'll go right up to that line, and like peer over it occasionally, but he won't cross it. He's an honorable guy, and he's very, 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 very loyal. When you got his back in any particular situation, he'll take a bullet for you.
Did you, when you were, wanting any personal scenes, did you, because it doesn't seem like they go into a lot of the personal parts.
Apparently, now that's, there's more of that going to be. I mean, there was a lot of referring to my ex-wife and my daughter and son, and there was a lot of, backstories about all of my, hypochondria, and so all those personal things were putting, and much, there was just fodder for GW, for Provenza's canon a lot of times. But as we speak, the next episode coming up, the character that plays my daughter will be showing up, which is going to be fun to play with. And what else? There have been times when Andy's gone out on dates, and then there's this whole Shandy thing that's going on, which is Sharon and Andy. Are they dating, or what's going on? And all of that that's a lot of fun to play, and the fans love it, and I love it that the fans love it.
So can you give us a heads up? Is it going somewhere, or is it?
I'm not at liberty to say, but I'm sure it'll bring a smile to everybody's faces, including my own.
In this season that's coming up?
That I don't know. I honest to God, I'm not trying to be coy or clever. I don't know.
Do you just talk to any police,
all the
actual
time.
Police people, to get it right?
All the time. Mike Burcham, who's a former lead detective of the city of Los Angeles, is now an executive producer, writer on our show. I talk to him a lot. This guy Gary, who is a what's Gary's last name? Mulligan. He is was LAPD. Now he's the technical advisor on the show, and so I talk to him almost every scene, asking questions. And we also have. I was told by James that, as far as like the detectives out there are concerned, they love my character, and a lot of it has to do with this one episode where I refused to be involved in painting over this graffiti, and so many detectives said that's exactly what I would do, and so Flynn has become sort of like a rebel favorite of a lot of not even a rebel favorite, but the guy who's like very practical, very down to earth kind of guy, and I was told that a lot of cops, are attracted to that loyalty aspect of him, that sort of, by the book, trying to be a hero in the neighborhood.
How has your character evolved from the closer to major crimes? Has it?
As the character, I mean, yeah, I guess it's evolved to some degree. The relationship between Provenza and Flynn has, maintained itself because we've been partners, for almost 25 years. So when you entered into the world of the closer the first time, this was already an ongoing relationship for a long time. So we just sort of hit the ground running, and it's stayed the same, ever since. His teasing of me and my teasing of him, and both of ours. It's like I said to somebody one time, we both have the opportunity to play Abbott and Costello, with one another. And my character's evolution was very quick in the beginning. I was opposed to Chief Johnson, and then when she showed that she, got my back, then I was on her side, and I became a loyal member of the, Major Crimes Unit. And the minute, Sharon, the minute Mary's character became the head of the squad, my loyalty, again, was right to her, because that's the way he looks at things.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that in the major crime show that it's gotten out of the closures? I mean, that
way out of the closures. It's two different shows.
Kind of, right, your own now.
It's two different shows. There was this wonderful element that was the closer, and now there's this really wonderful element that is Major Crimes. And I've spoken to a lot of people who watch the show, and I don't mean that as like, exaggeration. I mean a lot of people. And they all comment about how, even though it's the same room, it's the same, by and large, it's the same actors playing the same character, they all comment there's like something really like interesting about this new show, this Major Crime, something different than the closer. They don't say, oh, it's better than the closer. They just say there's something like really different that they really enjoy watching. It's evident by the fact that now our numbers are even higher than the closer. We're the number one show, cable television for TNT, this summer.
And I think you're the second show overall.
I wasn't going to say that, but thank you for saying that. I was trying to be humble, but
no, don't.
I think we're number one. I think we're number one actually, but that's okay. But I'll settle for two.
So how do you feel about that? I mean, because it's a cable show, and I know that a lot of times, for a long time, people had like this. Oh, it's a cable show. It's not a network show.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know from that. I mean, I guess one day I'd have to ask an executive from one of the networks or one of the studios, the money you make from movies, you put in your left pocket, and the money you make from TV, you put in your right pocket. Or, I mean, I don't know. But it's great. I mean, it's great. They say, when you're living your life and your dreams exceed your reality, that's where my life's at today. This is our 10th year. I've always been a sort of producer's lucky penny in the sense that every pilot I've ever done has gone to series, but this is the first one that's lasted more than 2 years. So that's been a blessing in itself for me, and I love the character. I don't, somebody said to me, do you think you could ever get tired of playing this character? And I said, Was that like a trick question? I mean, I don't know how that could happen. You know, I'll play this character. I mean, if this show stays on the air like a total of 10 years, you know, and at the end of the day, somebody said to me, wow, you know, you played that character for 17 years. I'd say, did James Arness seem like bored that he played Gunsmoke all those years? You know, the guys on Law and Order, some of them were on the show for, you know, like Sam Waterston was on that show for, I don't know how many years, 20 years. It's, you get a good role and you get, you know, good plots. They're good roles and good plots. That's what all actors are looking for. So I don't think I could ever be bored.
Do you think it's realistic in the way you portray a police? I mean, there are things that, let me ask, because there are things that were said that I was just kind of, really, does that happen? Like, I remember one time they said that they put a witness and they had to leave them at the crime scene, and the person got killed because they were left at the crime scene. And I'm just saying, is that really how LAPD works?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I know that one time there was GW and I, we were sort of like improvising a little bit, and I had made a comment that a few people, you know, in the set laughed, you know, and they were all like, wait a minute, you know, he's cracking a little bit of a joke at a crime scene, and, you know, cracking wise, not that he was cracking, telling jokes. And Mike Burcham said, if we didn't find a way to release what we deal with every day through some kind of laughter, that jocular stuff that goes on, he said, we all would have gone out of our minds. And so, you know, it's not like I don't want to use the word gallows humor, but it's we're human beings, and at the end of the day, sometimes you need to let it out. And I find myself realizing, like I've said so many times before, that my life as an actor and as Andy Flynn exists between the words action and cut. However, if you're a real police officer or a real fireman, your life exists from the minute you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. So action starts then and cut starts then. And so I get the opportunity to observe more and see a situation and then involve myself. So the situation happens, then I involve myself in it. I mean, it's great. I mean, if you look at, like right now, there's some interesting revolution going on I think in the entertainment industry. Television is really becoming, like, you know, an amazing place for drama, you know, and for comedy, but especially for these kinds of shows. I mean, this True Detective with Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. There's some really, really, really good shows. The Killing, and those are shows that a lot of times get an opportunity on cable that they might not get on the network, but they get an opportunity to exist now in like these mini-series format again, which they wouldn't get to be the movies. You know, it's very rare that you get a detective movie nowadays, a feature film that's a detective story. So television is becoming, you know, plus the fact the screens are shrinking, the downloading is pronounced everywhere. So people don't get a chance to go sit in a dark room that much anymore, and they sit at home, and so the internet, and it's just amazing. So a lot of the movies, it's like I once said to somebody, I said, a television camera doesn't know that it's going to be projected onto a 35-inch screen or a 35-foot screen. It's up to the actors to just give to that camera all that they can give from their craft and not worry about the size of, you know, that people will be viewing it at. So.
You know what I like about your show is the humor in it. I mean, it's major crimes, and you have some major crimes.
Yes.
But you guys have that humor.
Oh, it goes back to what I said. Mike Burcham said, "You would go nuts." He said, "There are times when I've been on some crime scenes that we created, that I would like I'd take pause for a second and go, wow." I mean, because almost all of our crimes are based on true stories. You know, it's told to us through Mike Burcham and through other police officers told to him. you know, and and then there's some that are like originals, but a lot of they're all original in one sense, but they're all weaned from true life situations. And I would think some of them, I think, my God, how do you walk in there and see this carnage? And they do. So these guys are heroes. You know, firemen run into buildings that, you know, everybody else is running away from the danger. Mm-hmm. They're running towards the danger. You know, cops are entering into the fray. We're running away from the fray. That's what heroes do. They move into the unknown, seeking to to solve something, to change something.
Is there anything you want to add that you want to let the viewers know that I have not asked?
I don't know. It's a good question. They can write in a letter campaign to get Sophia Loren to come on as either my mother or, you know, a relative or anybody's mother on the show. I would love to work with her. That's it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you giving your time to Crime Spree.
Oh,
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.